Hi, this is Sean Bodley with Clear Technologies, and I'm going to perform a demonstration on how to do a temporary host name change in an active PowerHA System Mirror version 7.1.3 cluster. Now, why would I do this? Overall, most enterprise applications don't care about the host name, or they may be tied to the service address, which makes sense in a clustered environment. But there are some legacy applications that have a host name requirement. Part of the application startup will actually verify the host name that it's on prior to starting up. So it's been a practice in the past that the application start script, we would check, set, and change the host name as needed. So this would happen both startup and even more so on failing over to another node of changing the failover node's identity. This is usually done by just simply running the hostname command, or to actually set it, we do a uname minus capital S, but the application may use either the N or the A option to perform the hostname check. So why am I showing this? The concept is not new, but starting in the original version 7.1 of PowerHA, ClusterWare AIX had a restriction of no hostname manipulation. Regardless if it was temporary or permanent, it wasn't supported. So this is just to show a demonstration of making a temporary hostname change. It is supported. It can be done dynamically. This exact demonstration will be the temporary method, and I will show the very simple scripts that I'm using to set and change them back. And I will show starting the cluster, failing over the cluster, and then showing the output of LS cluster from CAA to prove that the CAA node names don't change and are not affected by any of this. So with that, I will switch over to my lab environment to get ready to perform the demo. Okay, so here's my two-node cluster, DB2 and web. I've just already run up on each system the hostname, uname, and then also checking the hostname output of inet0. Now, for my demonstration, the hostname and uname information will change, but the inet0 information will not, as far as what the hostname is. That would only change if we were doing the permanent change option, which again this demonstration is not covering, but check my recordings. I may have another demo available on performing a permanent hostname change available out there. So both nodes showing same output as far as what's relative to their to themselves, and I just wanted to show what my little scripts are. This is very simple. So if you look up here, all I'm doing is setting hostname and uname to Sean and then exiting, and then that script is the same on both nodes, but then the chost back script, I'm setting it back to its original name. So on web it's web, and on DB2 it is DB2, and I'll show that here. Set it back to DB2. Now you can make some more intelligent scripts than this. This again is just for demonstration purposes. I'll show that currently my HA cluster is not running, but if I also look at my CAA cluster, I will see that the node names for the CAA cluster matches the host name on both sides. So there's web, and if I scroll up, there's DB2. So I'm going to go ahead and start the cluster. Now, my cluster application is simply just running this hostname command. So doesn't take real significant amount of time. I do have a single volume group and a single service IP address, but it comes up very quickly. So I've still got my monitor running on the bottom down here, so we can see the status of it. This will only take maybe a full minute. I may pause a few seconds in between. So you can see that we're getting joining status on both the reporting joining, but actually DB2 will join first. So it's bringing the service address online. The name of my resource group is test host. That's what this is showing here. My volume group is online, and now it says that DB2 is stable and it's waiting for web to join. So now they both joined, everything is stable. If I go back and look at my uname and hostname output again, you can see these two have changed to Sean, but my INAT0 output still says DB2. Again, that's only relative to a permanent change. In this case, we're just doing this temporary workaround. So my cluster is stable, and again, if I verify on web, he still says web. So I will move my resource group to web. So I will kick that off, and while that's running, I'll monitor my status down here. It's already let go of the service address in the volume group. On the first one, it's now acquiring it on the second one, over to web. DB2 says it's already done and stable. And like I said, since I don't have a real application, this runs very quickly. So it says it's already done even though I haven't gotten the command line back. There we go, on DB2. So now if I look back at DB2, since I had my script set it back, everything looks normal on DB2 now, but now over on web, I should see that the uname and hostname output has changed to Sean. And then I will do a move back one more time. I will move it back over to DB2, and we'll see that web will go back to its name and DB2 will change back to Sean. Actually, I'll go ahead and wait for that to finish, but the other thing I needed to show was that during this, the actual CAA cluster node name is unaffected by all this. So it still says DB2 in web. Now everything is back over on DB2. Everything is stable. I'll check my uname and hostname output. Both say Sean. And if I look at my LS cluster on either side, they should report the same thing anyway, but I've got node DB2 and web, and the CAA VG, of course, is still active, and everybody's happy. So now I can see that it has gone back to web. So now if I stop the cluster, then DB2 will go back to DB2. See, if you look here, you'll actually see this message says system mirror on Sean is shutting down. Well, that's because I've done this temporary change. And it says it's offline, but let's check QHA. Yep, that's offline. So now let's look at our uname output again, and everything's back to normal. So that is a very quick and dirty demonstration of how to perform a temporary hostname change in a PowerHA version 7.1.3 cluster. As the usual, if you have any questions, comments, suggestions, I'm completely open to them. This demonstration came about because somebody asked me if I could do one. They said that they've got an impending change coming up, or a migration coming up, and they wanted to feel a little bit better about that it was going to work in their 7.1.3 environment after they migrate, even though they should test it anyway. This was just something that was easy to put together. So please send me your comments and feedback. They are always welcome. You can leave them in the comments section here on YouTube, or send me an email at sbodley@cleartechnologies.net. And as always, thanks for watching.